Hello, and welcome back to part two of the topic of the 7 Cs of Business Correspondence, where I'll be taking you through the 7 essential qualities that any good business writing should have. So, in the previous video, I spoke about the 7 pearls of wisdom, and all these words start with the letter C. I had to look at the concepts of completeness, conciseness, and consideration in your business writing. And today I'm going to be taking up the concepts of concreteness, clarity, courtesy, and correctness in our business writing. So every time I pick up a C quality, first I'll be showing you a few examples which have some problems in them. We would like to identify what is the problem, and then we move on to the C qualities in more detail. So can you tell me what is wrong with the following expressions? The first one, it is very hot today. Look at the second one, she is a brain. And the third one, Europe is making progress in obtaining investments. Now, if you look carefully at all these 3 sentences, you will realize that all of them are very, very vague and subjective because the concept of heat might be different for different people. So instead of writing sentences which are very vague and can be misinterpreted by people, we would like to make them concrete. So let us see how we can convert these 3 sentences into a more concrete form. So instead of saying it is very hot today, you can say it is 48 degrees Celsius today. Now, the concept of heat might be very different from somebody who stays in a city like Bombay, but maybe somebody who is coming from a region like Alaska, for them, heat can be again a very different concept. But 48 degrees is a fact, it is concrete, and 48 degrees mean the same thing whether you're talking about it here in Bombay or someplace in Alaska. Look at the next one. She is a brain. Now, how intelligent is intelligent according to people? There must be a way of measuring intelligence. So instead of saying a statement, she's a brain, say her grade point average is 3.9 on a 4-point scale. So if the maximum point scale is 4 and somebody is scoring a 3.9, that should give you a fair enough idea of how intelligent the person is. Look at the third example. Europe is making progress in obtaining investments. What kind of progress, by how much, in which year, nothing is given. So make the sentence more concrete by saying in 2020, investments in Europe were about, 30 billion US dollars. Today, that figure has increased by 12%, and everybody is smart enough to do their own math. So, these sentences are concrete because they talk about facts and figures. So, how do we ensure concreteness in our business writing? We can make it concrete, first of all, as I said, by using very, very specific facts and figures that cannot be misinterpreted, that cannot be misunderstood by people. Next is, emphasize on denotative meaning instead of using words that can cause confusion and have, negative connotations. And the last one is that make your business writing more concrete by always using the active voice. Okay, so what are the benefits of concreteness? The first one is that your receivers will know exactly what is required of them. There'll be no confusion. Okay, next is your message will be interpreted in the way you intend it to be. You can get your message across exactly in the way you wanted without any kind of barrier coming in because of the use of vague, words and sentences. And the next one is that your message will be perceived as rich and interesting, and you will come across as an interesting person. Somebody who can validate what they are saying with a lot of facts, figures, and statistics sounds knowledgeable and sounds a lot more plausible than a person who speaks or writes vaguely. So, moving on to the fifth C quality, which is clarity, let us look at this expression and see how the concept of clarity has been compromised. Now, look at it. I'm going to read it out for you. We cannot assume responsibility for the production of toxic and noxious residue with hydrochloric acid and suggest you use an alternative procedure. Now, I had a hard time even, reading it aloud because it is full of so many difficult, heavy words and it makes your message and meaning so obscure. The real meaning of what you're trying to say is lost under the weight of heavy words and complex construction. So instead of saying something like this, you can simply say that don't use hydrochloric acid. It eats out all the metallic pipes, it does not go well with any kind of metal. So say what you have to say in a very simple way, and this is known as having clarity in your business writing. So how do we ensure clarity? Clarity can be achieved if we know the perfect balance between precise language. The words that you use have to be exact and not a semblance towards the exact word. It should be concrete, we're having facts and figures, and it should also use familiar language that even a fifth standard student should be able to understand. Next is you have to be able to construct effective, sentences and also, effective paragraphs. So we have to focus on the length of the sentence that we construct. We have to understand the concept of unity, and we also have to understand the third concept, which is coherence in our writing. So I'll be taking up examples of each of these three in the next slide. So, how do we ensure a good length? How do we ensure unity in our sentences and coherence? Let us look at the first one. Uh, the sentence length should not go beyond 15 words at the most, and try to, shift between simple and compound sentences and keep complex sentences to a minimum. This is not literature, this is business writing. You're not trying to impress your customer with your great hold over the English language. Next is you should pay attention to unity. So don't use two ideas and fuse it together in the same sentence. So don't write sentences like, I like gym and the Eiffel Tower is in Paris. Now, this is a very drastic example, but at times we end up writing too many ideas and putting it and juxtaposing it in the same sentence. Now, the third one, this is very, very interesting. Here, we write sentences which are grammatically correct, but at the end of the day, it makes no sense and it reads the reader confused. So, look at the sentence. I love this example. If the baby doesn't drink the milk, boil it. And then, after reading something or listening to something like this, you wonder, what do you have to boil? Do you have to boil the baby or the milk? You're absolutely not sure. Okay, I'll give you another sentence. I went to my village to sell my land along with my wife. So, what does it mean? That if you're buying my land, you have to take my wife along with the land. They come together as a package deal. So, here, the problem is that even the sentences are correct, they are lacking coherence, they are lacking sense. So, we need to pay attention, to the length, to the unity, and the coherence. Next, what are the benefits of clear writing? Uh, Being clear means that your message is being transferred simply but accurately to the reader. There is no confusion, so you don't have to send any additional messages to clarify your meaning again and again. Saves time, saves money, and also the reader doesn't feel stressed out while reading your message. Imagine if you send your reader every now and then running to the dictionary to look up difficult words you've used in your message, you've lost your reader. So these are some of the benefits of good, clear, lucid writing. We are moving on to the next C quality, which is courtesy. And I want you to figure out what is wrong with these expressions. The first one, clearly you did not read my facts. And the second example, this mobile robot will move in man-made environments. Now, it is a little difficult to figure out the problems, but I'll just take you through each one. clearly you did not read my latest facts is such a blunt statement, accusing someone of being lazy and not, reading or putting in the efforts to read. So it's a little blunt and tactless. And the second one, there is a not very obvious problem with the sentence, but you will see the use the word man-made, as if a woman cannot make anything. So here, there is a concept of discrimination. So any kind of discrimination in terms of race or sex is again lacking courtesy. So in today's time, everybody is equal, and there should be no insinuations in your business writing. You should be bias free. So these two examples are tactless. So how do we make these tactless sentences into sentences which show the quality of courtesy? So instead of saying you clearly did not read my latest facts, just say, let me try and explain once again. So using the word once again shows that you already made a prior effort. You are nice enough to make a second effort. So the other party should also maybe listen or read to what you're saying. Now look at the next one. Instead of saying man-made, just say this mobile robot will move in simulated environments. So let us see how we can ensure courtesy in our business writing. Now, true politeness stems from respect, first of all, and concern for others. Now, if you are, concerned, then you will really be sincere, and the sincerity will show through your choice of words. So you will be tactful in the choice of words, and also you will try to be non-discriminatory. So we'll stop avoiding use of words like blacks, like chinkies, or maybe a businessman. Okay, these are all known as biased words. So what are the benefits of being courteous to your reader? Now, courteous communication will give mutual respect and trust. Okay. Next one is that it will retain the customers. I would love dealing with a company or person who shows respect and is courteous towards me. And also, it builds for long term goodwill. If I'm happy with someone, service provider, then I'm most likely to be a returning customer. So these are the benefits of being courteous to your customer, and it costs really nothing to be courteous. Now, looking to the last of the 7C qualities, which is correctness. Let us first start by trying to identify what is wrong with expressions here. The first one, India has 27 states and 9 union territories. The second one, look at the way the date is written with a dot or a full stop between the numbers, and you can immediately make out that these are wrong expressions. India, in fact, has 29 states and 9 union territories. So the information you're giving is incorrect. Look at the next one. The way you write the date here is wrong because it can be misinterpreted. In India and in European countries, we talk about the day of the month first, then the month, and then the year. But if you go to, the continent of North America, you will see that they talk about the month first and then the date of the month, day of the month. So the right way of writing the date is either June 04 with the comma 2021 or 04 June 2021. Okay, so how do we ensure correctness in our writing is by using the right level of language. You should not be informal, you should not be cocky, just the right level of formality. Next is you need to check again and again for the accuracy of the facts and figures you're using. And the most important, you must use correct format. If you're sending out correspondence to your reader, you should at least know the format of whichever business writing that you're using. That also tells people that you have come doing your homework. So, what are the benefits of correctness? The first one is that it earns the trust of the customers. When you know that whatever information they're giving you is correct and you can actually cross check it, you build up that trust and faith. Next is it helps avoid critical situations like the loss of a life. You might be thinking that this is too drastic a statement, but it is true. A doctor, if he or she writes the wrong prescription with a point zero 0.05 or a point 0.5 milligram of some medicine can kill a patient. So, these, small things, small decimal point in the number of places after the decimal can cause loss to life or cause severe accidents. And the last one is it averts costly lawsuits. If you miss out on any information, and instead of putting in the correct information you put in the wrong information, you can be dragged to court and you're liable to pay a lot of money to your pockets. So with that, I come to the end of the session on the 7 Cs of business correspondence. For other topics on communication, please refer to the description box below. And just to remind you, the name of my channel is Toll Talks from a Short Lady. And with that, I will say thank you.